Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the March 11th, 2025 Board of County Commissioners meeting. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, again, good morning. And I do have an addendum to our agenda after our discussion that we had yesterday with the Road and Bridge Department. I'm going to add 2 items. Commissioners, one will be for the ASI signing of that contract for product for the application of our dust mitigation, and the other one would be for a snow plow for roller auctions. Are you all okay with that?
Yeah.
Move it forward.
So move.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to add a vote on a snow plow and an ASI signing contract for Montezuma County. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Minutes. Do we have any corrections or additions?
Good.
No.
Okay.
I move to approve the proceedings of Board of County Commissioners from Montezuma County for Tuesday, February 18th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, February 25th, 2025. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, planning, come on down.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so this being time set aside for a public hearing for Elevated Smoke LLC. Kim, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay. Here. Commissioner Copenhaver.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here.
Attorney Tarnowski.
Here.
Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a 10-lot major subdivision and AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Elevated Smoke LLC agent Cole Clark on property located at 7185 Road 25, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 35 acres more or less, located north of Road G, west of Road 25, situated in Section 3, Township 36 North, Range 16 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, March 11, 2025 at 9 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online services at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated the 17th day of February, 2025. Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Published in the Journal on Wednesday, February 26, 2025.
All right, thank you, Kim. Okay, Don, would you give us an overview, please?
Sure. Mr. Clark is proposing a 10-lot major subdivision on his property down at G and 25. Access would be off of G. The northeast, can you reduce that a little, Travis? The northeast lot already has 2 houses on it. Like I say, the access would be off of Road G. And cul-de-sac in the northwest corner. You got a better map there? Yeah. Up. Fire Protection District has looked at that. They don't have a problem with it. Planning and Zoning was unanimous to recommend it for approval. The only condition was that northwest lot and the middle west lot. They suggested a fire escape easement down the west side of the property just in case fire broke out and cut off the access to G on the main subdivision road.
Okay. Mr. Clark, would you like to add anything?
No, I have a survey map I sent to you, I don't know, it gives a better
You do not.
indication, that was just like a rough site plan, so.
Was it
gives
separate?
acreage and things like that.
That one. There you go.
It's a little more professional for you.
Sir, you might want to turn your mic on real quick. There you go.
So you're talking on the west side, so it would impact 3 lots
Correct.
Yeah.
to get like a 30-foot or something pretty small.
Or 20, yeah.
20, just an
It's just an
emergency
escape,
access.
an escape access.
Okay, I don't see that on there, but, okay, got it. Commissioners, do you have any questions before I open this up for public comment?
Not at this time.
Go ahead. No, I'm good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, then at this point, I will open this application up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this application, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments, and you may address the board at this time. Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this application. Gentlemen, I'll bring it back to the commissioners. Do we have any questions at all?
I haven't anything further. Gerald?
The one lot's gonna come off of Road G directly? Is that what it's, are those 2 southern lots? That's the plan? Or are they,
No, I think the access is right there that goes into the cul-de-sac is the only access in except for,
No, he's talking about these 2 right here, so.
yeah.
This
This
could
one.
Yeah, we
access
were
all-
talking about getting a road access permit through
So
there.
it'd be
for
lot
those two,
4 and
yeah.
lot 10?
Yes.
Is what he's questioning. So
Correct.
those would require a road
Yes.
access permit.
Okay.
Correct, Gerald.
Well, lot 4 could actually access off the subdivision road.
Yes.
Either way.
Yeah, I was, just one would be off the far west one. Far
Right,
west
lot
bottom
10.
quarter, yeah.
Yeah.
Which would work out good, because then we could use our fire road access could come out there too.
Mhm. Okay, anything else, Commissioner?
I think,
All compliant? Planning
Yes, sir.
approved it unanimously?
Yes.
All right.
I'll just say, for commissioners, for subdivision requests like this, our finding and decision criteria in our land use code are that the proposed use is in conformity with the land use code. The proposed use shall not generate any adverse impacts on other properties in the area, and that public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support the uses consistent with the proposed zoning.
All right. Good.
I don't see any problem, because
Okay.
all the water and everything's
Everything
available,
is there.
correct? Okay.
Yeah, G Road, it's been there for a long time, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
You okay?
Yeah.
I move to approve this 10-lot major subdivision and AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Elevated Smoke LLC agent Cole Clark on property located at 7185 Road 25, Cortez, Colorado.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the 10-lot major subdivision and AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Elevated Smoke LLC agent Cole Clark on property located at 7185 Road 25, Cortez, Colorado. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, sir, you are approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And this public hearing is closed.
right, then next we have 4 plats for signature. We've got the Flame 2-lot minor, Conley. We've got the exemption amendment. We've got those documents and the plat. We've got the May and Caroon 2-lot minor, and then we also have the Pickens single-lot development.
All right.
No, I filed something that said I wasn't gonna be there. I told Travis he's my phone call. I told the court I can't make it today. I told you he'd write you a note. Well, I want to stick around because there's, I want to the thing with the moratorium, there's like a little more process to it than I originally thought, so I just wanted to be there to talk about how to do that. You have a public hearing, basically. I was reading Colorado Court of Appeals case, but that was a Supreme Court case that talks about how to do it. T's and I's. Yeah. So that's something we just didn't have time to look at anyway.
The other one.
Yesterday. Chinese River. I think everyone has this house. That's the last one?
No. One more. Mountain Grove.
So that's the next question, because he asked me if I was at. And some. So you want to just. Yeah. We used to have, did you get a stamp when you was commissioner before? Yeah, we had stamps.
One more.
We saw it all the checks. Yeah.
check. Hurry up. We just started direct deposit, just started, nobody trusted it. Yeah.
Montrose has finished theirs, Fremont County's finished theirs, but Fremont County, I was talking to Dwayne this morning, they included nuclear in there too, which is what I'm more concerned with, because I'd like to have nuclear in there. Because I think nuclear is really, is what we've got to start looking at. And it's gonna be, like you said, what do you call them, the small, mini, modular?
Yeah, small modular, we can,
Yeah.
then there's the micros,
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, look up Fremont counties.
That's all we have on our agenda for today.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you all.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right. All right, next up on our agenda is our public comment session. The Board of Montezuma County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Person speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all the members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments. And comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time to others. And with that, the public comment session is open.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Kim. How are you doing? My name is Alan Mays, 21693 County Road 21 in Lewis. First off, I listened to the workshop yesterday, and I think I had some questions. I know things that you're going to make decisions on. I just wanted to add the forest collaboration group said something about having made some mistakes in clearing off trees and opening it up too much, allowing the sun to melt the snow a little too fast. What I was confused about, and I don't know how this is going to go with your decision to go ahead and support their request for federal dollars, other grants, but they said they were going to try some things to try to keep that snow on the ground after they've opened up the forest, and so I wished there'd been a question on that to them. That'll have to come later to see what they're actually going to do with the dollars that they request to do some things out there in their forest activities. I think they should have realized that things happen when you go and mess with Mother Nature and do it a little bit too extensively. But anyway, that was one question that I had on that decision that you're going to be making today. The other is I went to the meeting Thursday with the Valley Range Energy Group project, Plaza Park, I guess it is. They're talking about a 1,000-acre.
So I'm gonna.
Oh, okay. So let me go back.
That's-
I know that you guys don't. So I'm not going to mention any names anymore.
Okay.
Sorry, I forget. They're in the news, and so that's why they have put out their information that they're doing. So there are entities out there that want to do solar, and I just wanted to show you a picture of what's happening in New Mexico down by Shiprock. We have similar things that we like seeing in our communities, and so I just want, again, to say, if we can slow this thing down a little bit, I don't want to look out from Mesa Verde and see something like this in our beautiful valley that we have. So keep that in mind whenever proposals do come, and I'm sorry I mentioned any names. So anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you. And again, just a reminder, if it's something that's not in front of this board, we can't hear about it. It's quasi judicial. So again, I'm not scolding anybody. Just remember that, please, and do not bring that up in specifically names. Thank you. next? All right. We'll close the public comment session of this meeting and okay. All right. I'll keep it open for one more.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
My name is Denise Hall, and I'm a landowner for 25 years, and I'm a resident for 20 years. And I came today to find out what happened in Washington. That's the only thing I want to know. I want you guys to report a little bit about what happened with your meetings in Washington. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will address that, ma'am. If you go back to the YouTube video and watch it, we actually gave a long and lengthy report from both of us. It is online, but we will talk about it a little bit later on also. Okay, now I will close the public comment session of the meeting, and we will move on into unfinished business. First two items, as I stated, we added to the agenda. So the first one would be a vote on a plow truck, which would be using out of capital for road and bridge that was submitted to us yesterday. And it's an auction site, so we don't know what the amount would be at this point in time.
Okay, make a motion, we approve the, it's not a bid, well, it's a bid.
It's an auction.
It's an auction price of $6,500, or that's a current bid.
Yeah.
And what'd we, 90?
He cannot overspend his capital
Right.
budget at this point in time.
That's-
And he knows where it's at.
Amend the motion just to approve the road department to head to go ahead and get this bucket truck within his budget.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve Road and Bridge Department Head to bid on this Mack snow plow through roller auctions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Commissioner?
I move to approve this project bid from ASI Asphalt Systems Incorporated, preservation projects for the oil for our chip seal of $11.39 per ton, and for the purchase of 458 tons for the Montezuma County Road Department.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept and sign the ASI Asphalt Systems Incorporated bid for Montezuma County Road Department for estimated gallons of 458 tons, approximately 110,000 gallons. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The next thing on our agenda is going to be the letter of support for the Dolores Watershed Collaborative. As was just stated, this was presented in our workshop yesterday, and it was a joint letter. I believe it was for Dolores and Montezuma County, but it was corrected.
Yes,
For
sir.
just Montezuma County, and Dolores County will be presenting their own. Is there any further discussion on this?
No.
Okay.
I move to approve this letter of support for the Dolores Watershed Collaborative to reduce wildfire risk, to continue the $60,000 a year in federal funding through the Farm Bill.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the letter of support for the Dolores Watershed Collaborative. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And this will take all three signatures. All right. next up is our Emergency Operations Center Fairgrounds Grant Proposal. Mr. Spratland, I see that you're in here. You want to come and give us a brief synopsis of this one again? And it can be very brief.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ms. Kim. Too many notes from yesterday. Yeah, this will be a congressional spending grant that we're looking to get this year. We applied for it last year, and we weren't awarded that funding. After speaking with Hickenlooper's office and Bennett's office, they recommended and encouraged us to support for it, to go ahead and try it again. It's a 50-50 chance, but it'll help us remodel the 2 rooms upstairs at the fairgrounds, clean them up, and I have an additional $25,000, I believe, that will go towards the electronics of it. I handed you the budget, so I don't have it in front of me, but $281,000, I believe, and our share is the $70,000.
281, 273.
The total resources is 281, 273. The cost share provided by Montezuma County and through CTF would be 70,318.
That's it.
Yeah.
You have it. So
I have it.
that's, yeah, you've got my sheet.
I didn't throw it away.
No, good. And, you know, that mainly all strengths, a lot of opportunities here to clean that up and have a really good training room. It'll be our emergency operations center. It'll be continuity of operations for Board of County Commissioners. It'll be employee trainings, county training facility, media center if we need to for businesses, et cetera. So, any question?
I have none, gentlemen.
No.
Okay.
Good.
Thanks.
I move to approve this Montezuma County grant application submission form for the Office of Emergency Management through the congressionally directed spending in the amount of $185,955 requested from the grant.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County grant application submission form to our OEM for the Fairgrounds Emergency Operations Center in the amount of $185,955. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Mr. Spratland, you want to come up again and talk about your animal rescue team, since you're here?
Love to. Thanks, Chair. The Community Animal Response Team is called the CART. We did a lot of research throughout the state of Colorado. There's numerous teams out there. They have policies that are huge, and they've got very large CART teams. What we're looking at, this CART team is a group of trained volunteers dedicated to assisting animals before, during, and after disaster. And they focus on tasks, sheltering displaced pets, reuniting animals with their owners, providing necessary care, etc. The well-being of animals, of course, are there. We've had a lot of response from the community wanting to assist us in this. Zero cost to the county. They would be underneath the county workers' comp when we call them out. The sheriff is the one that calls them out, or I would call them out. And it's just another emergency support function that we utilize in case of an emergency. So during fires, floods, et cetera, it'd be for evacuating if we have the opportunity to do so. And they would come in, we would provide training for them, get them up and running. And I have a grant funding, or a possible as well today, of the Lore Foundation of $5,000, which will help us get the vests and various little odds and ends of equipment. no big lift on our part. We're not trying to make this a huge deal. We're just trying to get organized. So we're not running around in chaos and trying to exchange business cards during a disaster. We'd rather have people halfway trained, if you know what I mean. So get an idea who's in charge and what's going on. So that's kind of our plan, just another check mark I'm trying to check off. And CSU will be running the program. We'll be assisting, but she'll be the lead on it. Emily will. That's any questions on that?
Nope.
Good. I move to approve this Montezuma County grant application submission form for the Community Animal Response Team supplies through the Lower Foundation for $5,000 with no match.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County grant application submission form, again to the OEM, for the CART, Community Animal Response Team supplies, in the amount of $5,000 from the Lower Foundation, a local foundation, with no cash match. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, next up, we have a Waterwise Education Gardens grant proposal. This was presented yesterday by Emily Lockhart, our CSU Extension agent, and this is for education at the garden at the public library. Do you want to expound on this, Mr. Spratlin, or are you good with that? It wasn't your grant. And this is also, you're fine, this is also through the Lower Foundation, a local funder, and this is for the amount of $1,725 with no matching funds. That's it.
I support it fully, sir.
I move to approve this Montezuma County grant application submission form for the CSU extension for the Waterwise Education Gardens at the public library through the Lower Foundation for $1,725 with no match.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County grant application submission form to CSU Extension for the Waterwise Education Gardens and Public Library in the amount of $1,725 with no cash match. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, next up, again presented by CSU, was a 2025 gardening class grant proposal. Something that I will take a minute here. Emily does a really good job of presenting all of her information, and if you guys would go back and watch the YouTube videos for yesterday, she has got a plethora of classes that are coming up for agriculture, everything related, and even to drought, and even just having coffee in that industry. So a great presentation yesterday, so please go back and look at that. There's a lot of information, and then visit the website. So with that, did you already move forward?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I would so move we signed and approve the application for the Waterwise Educational Gardens at the public library in the amount, for the amount of $1,725.
That's the one we already done.
Yeah, we did
That's the
that
one
We did that one,
Yeah,
okay.
this one.
Hand me the right one. All right, withdraw that motion.
It's done. It's already done.
Yeah. I would so move that we sign the grant application for the 2025 gardening classes in the amount of $2,030.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County grant application submission form for CSU extension for the 2025 gardening classes in the amount of $2,030. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next up is the Electronic Recording Technology Board Grant Proposal. Ms. Purcell, I'll let you take this one since you presented yesterday.
So this is just a reimbursement grant from the Electronic Recording Technical Board. We're going to purchase and replace some computers and some scanners. There's no match, and it's in the amount of $10,924.42.
You okay?
Yeah.
I move to approve this Montezuma County grant application submission form for the Kim Purcell, the county clerk and recorder, for the Electronic Recording Technology Board for a reimbursement of $10,924.42.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County grant application submission form for the county clerk and recorder as a reimbursement in the amount of $10,924.42. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, we have a letter of support to CCI for the amicus brief in the unfunded mandates, or as we learned yesterday, the underfunded mandates, which I'm still a little confused. If it's not totally funded, it's unfunded. But
Yeah.
I will turn this one over to you, Mr. Tarnowski.
Sure, this is something that got on my radar on the county attorney listserv. Basically, there's some litigation going on in Boulder County about there's some different laws about ways people can request police surveillance footage. And one of those laws in particular seems to be in conflict with the prohibition against unfunded mandates. And the district court in this case in Boulder County basically rectified that conflict by finding that there wasn't an unfunded mandate, but an underfunded mandate, which is a new idea in this context. And so other counties reached out, particularly El Paso and Boulder, looking for other counties that wanted to get together and encourage CCI to submit a brief in the appellate case on this issue from all counties, basically from CCI, to say, you know, we think the district court got it wrong. This would be a pretty big change in how this law is interpreted, how we understand the law to be interpreted, and it would have a negative impact on counties. And you know, we think that the appellate court should basically should find that this particular conflict is an unfunded mandate, and also that I guess the other piece would be that we don't agree with this idea of an underfunded mandate in this context. That's really the intent of the briefing that we're asking CCI to introduce with this letter.
Okay.
Yeah. Most definitely.
I move to move forward this request for amicus brief in Colorado Court of Appeals case number 2025 CA 26 for the Colorado Counties Incorporated to enter into the submitted amicus briefing in Court of Appeals case.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the letter and sign for the amicus brief for the unfunded mandates or underfunded mandates. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Lastly, Mr. Tarnowski, I'll let you take this one over under unfinished business again. We had a conversation yesterday in our workshop about some solar regulations as it pertains to our land use code, and this is kind of one of those to try and put a pause, I guess, to give us enough time to create additional language and then get it accepted into the land use code. So with that, Stephen.
Yeah, yesterday we had kind of a general discussion about our land use code, how regulations about renewable energy generation, in particular solar projects, is what it looks like across the state, and how different counties have been responding to this. And there was also some talk about adopting a moratorium to pause the processing and accepting applications for large-scale solar development. Last night after I got home and after our discussion, I looked a little more into this issue. It's another one of these things, kind of like we talked about yesterday with the different statutes, where if you request the police records under one statute, it works this way. If you do it under this statute, it works a different way. Here, there's some different authority for adopting a moratorium like this. And I think most counties want to utilize the broader authority that really derives from a Colorado Supreme Court case, not the statute that I cited here. But to do that, we would need to hold a public hearing. So that's my recommendation today is, if the board is interested in adopting a moratorium, I think the best way to do that would be to try to first get public comment on that issue, so that you'd be on the pathway on this broader authority to adopt moratoriums, because what I cited in my draft moratorium, I think, doesn't really apply to what we're accomplishing. That's a little more narrowly construed. And so the right way to do it, I think, would really be to have a public hearing, notice it, give the public an opportunity to weigh in, and then we can kind of proceed on a little bit different track than I had kind of laid out yesterday. But that's what I think at this point the appropriate way to do that is. And I also just looked over some of the correspondence I had with other counties when this question first came up, and so I'm pretty sure that would be the way to do it today. So I'm making the recommendation that the board not adopt this moratorium that I prepared, but we can continue to explore that just on a little shorter footing, essentially.
So even if we don't adopt this today, it doesn't mean that we can't still continue to put our language together to do our homework in our workshops, correct? I mean. Yes,
so not taking any action today would just not change anything, but the board could set this idea for a public hearing, essentially.
Correct.
And things would continue as they are now in the interim, but the public hearing on a proposed moratorium on, whatever you want to call it, solar development, energy development, renewable energy development, that's still something the board can do, and really would need to take this additional step of the public hearing to really meet not the statutory in this case, but the case law derived requirements for this kind of pause of processing.
So that just takes two weeks, right, of public notification and then
I
set
think
the
so.
public hearing? So it could happen within three weeks?
You're
4 weeks?
looking at April 1st, as soon as you can do it. I hate doing anything on that day, but
Well, I mean, we could do it the next week, but I think that's all we have, is we have to have 14 days of publication.
yeah. I would so move, we set for public hearing to listen to public input on a moratorium on solar regulations within Montezuma County for April 1st, 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to move this resolution forward to a public hearing for April 1st, 2025. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Very good. But in the meantime, we will continue to work in our workshops and look at other language and continue to look at the study that we have in front of us right now.
Seems the more questions we ask, the more questions we find.
So, okay. All right, moving right along to new business, we have Ms. Frizzell in here. We have a liquor license.
Good morning. My name's Jerry Frizzell. I do the liquor license renewals and special event permits for Montezuma County. Today I have one for the Montezuma County Fair Board. The special events to be held at the fairgrounds at 30100 US Highway 160. And it's from July 25th through August 2nd from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. every day. I have a letter from the fairgrounds giving them permission to hold the event there and to sell alcohol. I did not get it to Steve Nallen in time to have him send me the letter. He said when we was ready to go to the board he would send me the letter. But I have the letter that he sent to the fair boards. It says, "Thank you for reaching out. Unfortunately, because of the lack of funding and personnel for the sheriff's office, we will not be able to provide security for your local alcohol event this year. I'll apologize for these circumstances as the county fair is not the only special event that will be affected by what has happened. I will try to have random patrols present when possible during the scheduled dates." So I reached out to Justin to find out what the Montezuma County Fairgrounds policy is. And as long as they have 3 people, 2 people for 100 or more, and up to 100, 3 people for more than 100, that wears shirts, they say security, that they can have those people in there to do the security for them. And what they do is they stay where the alcohol is served, and they will provide security for the events. So that is it. Any questions?
So let me ask the question, because the Fair Board pays the Sheriff's Department for the personnel, and I'm asking you probably the wrong person, it should be the sheriff.
And like I said, I apologize for that. I thought I sent it to him earlier, but I didn't get on the agenda till Wednesday of last week. And then I was off Thursday, and I forgot to send it. I said I needed that letter. But as far as I know, that they do pay the
Sorry about
sheriff.
that.
They
Pushed the
pay the
wrong
sheriff
button.
for their time out there.
Are we pushing the clock against their time frame for this? Because it's March.
No,
I
no.
would say, let's table this for now, get back to the Fair Board, and they can check with the other. Typically, what we did is they can check with a private company, or they can check with Cortez, they can check with Mancus. It does not, as long as it's
But Justice says they don't have to have it.
they don't have to have it, but
No.
we would rather, I think, well, I'm going to speak for
Would
me,
rather
not
see it
anybody else.
there.
I would rather see an actual certified,
Yeah.
is the proper term,
Okay,
at least one certified deputy out there, or certified officer.
so they need to get a hold of Mancus or the
They
city.
can get a hold of Mancus.
City or any
Yeah.
private. Okay,
All right,
Okay.
so we'll postpone that 2 weeks. Can you get it on in 2 weeks, Travis?
31st, or no? It'd be the 31st.
no, that'd be April something.
25th,
25th, yeah.
okay?
Okay, I will let them know.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along, attorney's report, Mr. Tarnowski.
I I know I gave a short report yesterday, but I'll reiterate some of those things. The sheriff's sale that was scheduled for the Ironwood property was continued about a month, so that's now set for the end of March. I'd never had any direct communication with Kelly McCabe, who represents the party that was forcing the sheriff's sale, but I kind of understood maybe there had been less interest or possibly as grounds for the sale, and there may have been some concerns about the state of the property that could have affected that. But for the board, I think it doesn't really change everything we're trying to accomplish as far as our litigation about the property and trying to get that property into compliance and mitigate the danger to the community. So in some ways it's status quo still is how I would kind of explain our current situation on that front. The other thing that I had mentioned yesterday was we got that election set up for the FOP unionization. Those ballots should have been mailed out. They're set to be counted also towards the end of the month, I believe. So, you know, between myself and administration, we work together with everyone to make that happen, and now we're kind of just in a waiting period till we get to that date, and depending on how that goes, and it, you know, there could be a lot more to do essentially on that front if the unionization is voted for. Otherwise, it's been kind of a busy time. For me, I've been in court a lot for mostly child welfare and child support issues here over the last 2 weeks. I've got a short docket again tomorrow. We're still waiting for decisions in several cases, including the dollar store case, the land use code issue there. And then I've just been working with Don Haley quite a bit between the kind of looking at that discussion we had yesterday as far as solar development, and also on the creation of the variance provisions for our land use code. So I've been spending a lot of time looking at that stuff too.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Anderson?
Gentlemen, last week obviously was back in Washington, D.C. It was a busy run from committee to committee. I attended the Ag and Rural Affairs, Justice and Public Safety committees, attended the Colorado Caucus meeting, Western Interstate Region, Rural Action Caucus, and then the general session. We also met with our congressional leaders, talked about funding, provided an update yesterday as it related to Ag and Rural Affairs. They did talk a lot about the Farm Bill and SNAP benefits and broadband technology and different funding sources. So, brief synopsis.
Very good. Thank you. Ms. Purcell? Do you have any? Nothing? Okay. Commissioner Lindsay?
Yes. I have city council tonight. Go see what the city's up to. But I've been getting some messages off of the county site opposing and supporting different planning and zoning applications. And I want you to know that I refer those to the county clerk. I don't try and read them all because we are a quasi-judicial board. So when I read a name or something, I stop reading. I mean, you just can't try and influence the jury. So just let it be known that when I get these, I do forward them to the clerk for the public record. That's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Yeah, I don't have much to report either. We've been, like Kent said, we got Mancus meeting this week and got a Southwest Water Conservation Board looking into the different bills being passed through the legislature as far as they have to do with water. So other than that, that's what I got going on this week.
All right, very good. So as Travis alluded to, we were, as a Colorado delegation, 60 commissioners were out there. We did have 3 items that we did talk to all of our representatives. Who we met with was Representative Pedersen, who was actually out on maternity leave, and she had her assistant there, Katie Fuller. And these were all groups of 6 as we went around Capitol Hill. Met with Senator Bennett, Representative Nergoose. I met with Representative Crank along with Travis. Representative Crow, Representative Bobert, and Chief of Staff Rory Burke, Representative Evans, and Representative Hurd. In our meeting with Representative Hurd, obviously, like I just stated, we had 3 key items that CCI wanted us to talk about with all of the representatives and senators, and that was specifically to road surface and transportation, as it affects all of us equally. It doesn't matter if you're R, a D, or an I. TANF, CCAP, and Medicaid, and the funding of how it will affect us in rural Colorado. We also had a specific meeting for Montezuma County, myself and Mr. Anderson, and that's where we basically laid out our support, which we have signed a new letter of support that we had sent to him a couple weeks back, as it pertains to the National Conservation Area, to still try and keep that moving. We met with the Dolores County Commissioners yesterday in here. They also had signed their letter of support for that, to move that forward. And I haven't had any contact with San Miguel County yet, but I'm pretty sure that they had sent theirs in also. It sounds like that may come back up in Congress here this month. So we'll see how that goes, and gets through the process. Like Commissioner Copenhaver stated, one of the things that we have to protect is our water, and to make sure that those fish don't get on the endangered species list, because they have to have water to live, which will pull all of our, or the potential to utilize more water than what we have to send down the river. If you want to know more about that, Commissioner Copenhaver is the guy to talk to, because I know enough just to be dangerous, other than we need to protect it. They were super, we were only allotted 30 minutes at a time for all of these meetings, so it's super fast and furious. That's where we broke up into groups of 6 and went out to try and capture everybody as a delegation from Colorado, that we possibly could. There was a lot of security around there, around the White House and the Capitol. Obviously, if you've watched the news, you know that the Ukrainian president was back there at the point in time, and things must have went awry in that meeting, because there was a lot of activity out there. But more than anything, and I've always known this my entire life, it's making, being able to meet one-on-one with these people, knowing them by name, giving them your card, shaking their hand, and a personal relationship. It gives you a lot more power when we reach out to them, because then they actually know who's calling them or who's emailing them, and it was a trip well worthwhile. And I'll stop there. There is more you can watch yesterday on the workshop. Did go to the Dolores meeting last night after my report, which was pretty brief. They were getting ready to talk about something that's quasi-judicial, so I was able to excuse myself and get out of there and go home and eat. And that was about the length of that meeting last night. So that's all that I have.
Anything else?
No.
Motion
We're
to
done.
adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn this March 11th, 2025 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.